Hey, Nick.
Oh, hi, Tys.
Welcome to episode 112.
I didn't know you hit record. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
I'm pretty quick off the mark, man.
I like it.
Episode 112 of Nick, Tys and Videotape. Welcome aboard, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening indeed. We're very excited tonight to be talking about the 1990 Stephen King adaptation of It.
Yes.
The made-for-television special.
Mini-series. You don't get mini-series anymore, do you?
No, they're not really a thing anymore, are they?
No.
Occasionally, Channel 7 will put on some garbage, the life and times of one of them princes or that chick that married a prince. And
Well, remember, they'd do a Merlin.
Oh, yeah.
The mini-series. And you're like, what the fuck is this?
I loved Merlin.
Yeah,
Sam
everyone loved
Neill.
that. Yeah, man. It was gold.
It was gold.
Yeah. But now they just do we're going to do a Netflix movie.
Yeah,
Breaking
exactly.
Bad.
And, we had, the 90s were a ripe time for Stephen King adaptations. This is probably the most popular one, maybe next to The Stand, I would say, of the made-for-TV specials.
Mm-hmm.
So we're very excited to be talking this. Of course, talking about it because It Chapter 2 has just moseyed its way into cinemas.
It has.
Neither of us have had the opportunity to see it yet.
No, I think I'm seeing it next week or the week after.
Yes, that is my plan. I have loose plans with friends.
Loose plan? I like loose plans.
Loose plans.
Yeah.
Weston, we will be going to see it soon.
Do it.
Give me a break.
Katie Weston, I know you're gagging at the bit.
But
Tyson,
we
get your
definitely
shit
will see
together.
it. Yeah, it is. It's totally my fault. It's always my fucking fault. But before we do any of that, Nick, why don't you tell the people at home where they can find our show?
Yes, thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. You can find us where you listen to all your podcasts. We'd love for you to rate, review, subscribe if you haven't done it already.
Yeah.
If you have, thank you very much, Lee. Also, you can join us on all the social medias, which is Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We are on YouTube if you wish to listen to us on there. And tune in. No. What is the paid one? Subscribe to
Radio Public.
Radio Public. I always get that wrong. So yeah, if you wish to chuck us some cheeky coin, but we don't have a Patreon, so how would you do that? You subscribe, download the
Radio Public.
Radio Public. I kind of say public radio, but that's definitely not what it is. Radio Public app, and you can subscribe to Nick Tys and Videotape on there. And every subscribe, we get some coins. So
we do indeed.
Please
it's
do
really
that.
great.
Other than that, jump on that Letterboxd app. Have a go. It's one of my favorite apps.
Yes,
it's taking over IMDb.
It is.
I just hope they don't change it too much. Like if it gets big, how when things get big, they're like, "Oh, we might as well add more to it." No. I like
suddenly they'll find ways to make money, and
exactly
before you know it, we'll have to watch an ad for some fucking build your shit game every time we want to review a movie.
Exactly, or an ad for Squared Space. Yeah,
exactly.
No, we're all good.
Very good.
Jump on the Letterboxd. You can follow Tyson and myself. Tys is TYS_videotape, and I am Nick, NIC_videotape.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Nicholas.
Tys.
It's a slim pickings week for talking trailers, so we're going to give it a miss this week, which is perfect timing because it gives us an opportunity to open up our mailbag.
It reminds me like a Peter Coombe.
Oh, yeah.
Mailbag. Yeah.
When you put a letter in a sack,
exactly.
It's in the mailbag. Exactly.
Terrible.
Luke Watsford. Fan of the show.
Hello, Luke Watsford. Shout out to
always
Luke
a pleasure. Thanks for Luke for getting so involved on Facebook and all that kind of stuff. We love all your contributions, especially this week. Proof of my theory that every motherfucker owns an episode, a copy of Swordfish on Blu-ray.
That was so good.
On DVD.
Thank you, Luke Watsford. You made me laugh hardly.
Yes.
Hardly. Yeah. It was so funny. God damn.
But Luke has written into the mailbag. So, guys, I went through the list of your 111 episodes, and I don't think I see a Clint Eastwood movie.
Ooh.
I feel you should put one of his films, starred or directed, on your to-do list.
Okay.
Thank you, Luke.
Thank you, Luke Watsford.
Maybe stay tuned for the end of the episode.
Oh.
As for your Halloween episodes...
Oh.
This is great.
Ooh.
Maybe the Evil Dead trilogy with the optional edition of the TV series.
Oh, I was going to say the remake. Would we do the remake?
I think we'd put the remake. If we did it, yeah.
We'd
because
have to.
That's only because it's only 3 movies. I'd feel weird ranking 3 movies. It's just and that's why I haven't.
Well, is it 1 and 2? Have you seen them recently? 1 and 2 are very, very, very similar.
2. Well, 2 is essentially a remake of 1, but with just the comedy kind of aspects of it, the fun turned up,
amped up a little.
I can't remember which one I watched recently. Actually, I can't remember if I put on 1 or 2.
I would have watched 1 recently, and then I've watched the most recent is the remake. 3 is the one I've seen the least.
Oh, 3 is the one I've seen the most.
Yeah,
because it was a bit of a. That is a. We talk about like great movies to get kids into horror.
Yeah,
I think
that
Evil
was
Dead, Army of Darkness is definitely a good one for that because I used to watch that a lot as a kid, and it's so fun.
Yeah,
like
it's
and it has
funny.
its scary elements to it, of course, but it's funny. It's a really good time. It feels more like an adventure film.
Yeah.
So it's a great way to get younger people into horror.
My brother was all over it when we were kids. I never jumped on. He would always, when he got his 5 movies for $5, that was always in his pick.
There you go.
Yeah.
So that's on the cards, maybe, or maybe it might be a everything old is new again situation, and we watch.
Oh, we watch the original and we watch the remake,
perhaps.
Oh, I like that.
Maybe, but it would be. I mean, eventually during a spook-isode month, we will of course tackle the Evil Dead series, whether or not it's this October. Or one of the future Octobers. The email continues.
Oh.
From the sounds of things, you guys have multiple streaming service subscriptions. What do you use to get those bad boys on the TV? A Chromecast? My TV only has the Netflix app. I was considering getting a NVIDIA Shield at one point.
What the hell is that?
No, me neither. I don't know.
Okay.
Keep up the great work. Luke Watford.
Thank you. I own an Apple TV 4K.
So that's pretty much the answer to my question as well, is that I also own an Apple TV, and because we are both iPhone users,
yeah, it kind of melds together in the Apple family.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of obviously how their business model works, is that they want, you buy another Apple product because it connects up with this other Apple product that you have.
But also the reason that I have it, like not only do I have all my streaming services there, and the fact that I can literally with the new 4K hit that microphone button. I sound like I'm plugging Apple TV, but hit that microphone button and go show me films by Matt Damon, and it will literally list them on whatever I can watch them on. That and also AirPlay.
Yeah,
so
of course.
If I'm watching YouTube, I don't watch it on my phone. I'll watch it on my TV.
Well, I've obviously I'm in a similar boat. I use the Apple TV. My television is a similar thing where it does have Netflix and it does have YouTube, but I've found that it's always far more. Far easily accessible. More easily accessible. Just to use the Apple TV. The streaming services that I do subscribe to, I thought in case people are interested, is I do subscribe to Stan, Prime Video, and Netflix. They are the paid ones that I subscribe to.
Sure.
I also have a paid one for my sport, but no one cares about that.
Yeah.
And the free ones that I take advantage of, because there are a few that people might not be aware of that are actually reasonably good. There's Canopy, which is which all you need is you're either a student. If you're a student, you log in using your student ID.
Yep.
Or if you are a member of a local library, or the library database. No, I was about to say the library, but that's essentially what I'm saying. The choices of movies available if you're only subscribing through your library is slightly lessened.
Sure.
But Canopy is a great streaming service for kind of art house, independent film.
Sure.
They tend to kind of curate things that are more that have a bit more of a purpose. You won't find like your Hollywood blockbusters on there. They did a lot of Criterion Collection stuff for a while.
Oh yeah.
And so that they're obviously there because if you are studying and there is a text available, they will try to make it available through Canopy.
Oh, nice.
And you end up finding some pretty cool stuff there.
That's cool. Well, I'm the same. I stream the same things as you. The only one that I do different, I don't do Canopy. The other one I do different is Tubi TV. Tubi TV?
I say Tubi, but I could be wrong.
Exactly. And the benefits of that is that it has low, like if you're after those things like, what was it? Plan 9 from Outer Space, the one that didn't work. So those types of movies that anything by Ed Wood is a lot on Tubi TV, or you're going to get those old, a couple of Hammer horrors in there. You get a couple of Hammers.
Yeah, there's some classic horror in there. There's some independent horror that I've heard some things about that I've watched through Tubi as well. They also have most of the Asylum features, which is that kind of mockbuster company. So, things like, for instance, just on a quick glance, the San Andreas Quake. There is a movie that, of course, is cashing in on San Andreas. Gangster Land, which is, of course, cashing in on Gangster Squad. They made a real pretty solid career for themselves. 2012 Ice Age.
Oh, wow.
Stuff like that. They're all pretty garbage movies, but...
Does it also have... It also has like a couple of Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton, if I'm not correct?
Perhaps, maybe that might be that other one.
I'm thinking of something else, yeah.
But yeah, so look, there is a lot of crap on Tubi, I'll be honest, but they do have the occasional kind of classic film that is in a bit of a strange kind of... When sometimes there isn't a great DVD release because about 6 different companies own the distribution rights, you end up maybe coming across that movie on Tubi, like for instance something like Night of the Living Dead, the original. I was on there for a little while.
Which is good
That's
to watch.
how I watched the original Suspiria when we did an episode on it last time. I watched it through Tubi. And then, the last one as well, I just... there's Sony Crackle as well. Crackle's a weird one because in America... In the United States, there's more going on Crackle. Yeah. They tend to kind of... it's still a free service, but they update it more often and give you more choices. Okay. The Crackle that's available to us is basically the same list of about 50 or so movies that it's had forever. Since I logged in and got the app, it's still the same run of movies.
Wow, really?
There's a couple of good movies in there, by all means. Gattaca is on there. Go is on there.
I still haven't seen Gattaca.
Gattaca's wonderful. Things like Idle Hands, which is fun to watch.
Yep.
Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, I watched that through there. Night of the Creeps, great film.
Nice.
But they just don't ever update it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
A couple of random little 80s films that you're like, hey, I've always wanted to watch that, like Pulse, the horror movie Pulse.
Oh, yeah.
I've always wanted to see. So Crackle, it's very limited, but it's worth having, and then you just check it just in case. You never know, there might be something on there you want to watch.
Nice.
So that's our streaming devices.
Lovely.
Yeah. Thanks for the email, Luke.
Since we're talking about streaming, by the way, we've got 2 coming out very, very shortly, Tyson. Are you going to get Disney Plus and or Apple TV?
I will investigate both.
Yeah. It's going to be very cheap. That's the thing.
Apple TV seems to be pretty cheap. So in Australia, it'll probably be around the $7 mark, I would say. $7 or $8 a month. Yeah, around that.
Yeah.
Are they offering in Australia that deal that they're offering overseas where you get a year free if you buy...
Correct.
An iPhone,
I think
I think
that's what is happening. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's kind of interesting, I guess. It's going to depend greatly on what the service actually provides.
Yeah.
Because we now have the Apple TV app, which on our Apple TVs, which was only recently uploaded,
yeah.
And I am yet to see what it does. I kind of go into it and I'm like, oh, this is nothing.
I think it's for like back in the day when you used to download a music video. If you paid for it, you could look at it there.
Right. So
that's what I knew on my phone.
Yeah. Sure.
So if I don't know what's going to happen.
So it kind of collates all your paid content. Is that what it does? Okay, fair enough.
That's what it is.
And Disney Plus, I'm in the same boat, man. I just don't. I don't know how many more I can get.
But that's the thing.
Before I'm paying ridiculous amounts of money.
Disney Plus, you're looking at a lot of Marvel content, Tys. Like, this is the thing. And this is what me and Tyson listeners have been talking about recently. If we're going to get Disney Plus, are we going to drop something? Is Stan or Netflix going to fall by the wayside? It just depends. Will you watch one for a month while getting rid of the other and not paying it for 6 months?
Yeah.
And then pick it up after that 6 months and go, well, let me have a look what Stan is
exactly.
doing right now.
And the other thing is, I think we're in a time now where, and I think this is what Disney Plus is going to be doing, is that it's not just the streaming service. There are other things involved. And that's why I love Prime so much, and why I don't want to get rid of Amazon Prime is because you do get access to Prime delivery on all your Amazon shopping for free. You get Amazon Books, Amazon Music, slightly limited versions of those, but those nonetheless. So you still can listen to ad-free music. You can listen to like random audiobooks. They're selected by Amazon. You don't just get free reign.
Yeah.
But that's more than these other streaming services offer. They've kind of it's just what it is, and that's it.
Yeah.
And they're all creeping up in price too, man. And that's,
Exactly. Well, this is the thing. Like, it's getting to the point now where, like it's just inflation, really. Like, because there's so many of them.
Well, yeah, inflation is part of it, but it's also, I do think it's becoming a slightly saturated market, and they're having to raise their prices and are saying things like, oh, hey, well, this is the membership that gets you 4K or multiple screens.
Exactly.
And I'm kind of like, yeah, I feel like that should just be...
Well, that's the thing. Like, it's getting to the point now, because my Netflix, because of my television, there was no point me not getting the 4K updated version.
Yeah.
And with that, I can share it with 4 other people or 5. Okay. So my in-laws and my sister-in-law, shout out if you're listening, have sharing that subscription.
Sure.
So maybe getting them to get Disney, and I can
and vice versa
piggyback off them.
Look, it's probably not the worst idea in the world. I have similar things going. Well, no, I don't at the moment, but I have the capability of that as well because I think my Netflix is. I think it's 2 screens simultaneously. But the thing is, even on those ones, you can just set up accounts. You can just set up profiles.
Yeah,
it just means that if by chance you go to watch something and it says no, you can't. You can always just ring that person and say, "Oh wait, get off my Netflix."
Get off my Netflix, God damn it. I can't wait for Clark to be watching that in his room. I'm like, oi, what are you watching?
Exactly. Get him his own.
Get your own.
His own profile ASAP. Otherwise, all that you'll have suggested is
100%.
Yo-Yo Gabba or whatever that show is called.
He already has one set up. There is no kids stuff on mine at all, ever.
Good move. No. But yeah, so we're looking at $50 a month very soon for our
$50 a month.
And I used to fucking roll my eyes at that amount of money and say I would never ever get Foxtel because it was so expensive.
Or Galaxy.
And well done.
Big thumbs up for was it 90s the Galaxy came out?
Yeah, something like that. 90s? Oh god. So now we're getting pretty close to that anyway, and I don't seem to, I never really think twice about it, but I will soon, I think. Because it's just it's too much.
It's too much.
It's too hard. But yeah. That's our mailbag section. Thanks, Luke. And if you would like to send in an email or have your email read on air, you can, of course, contact us on nicktysonvideotape@gmail.com.
Tice only takes emails.
Only emails.
That's how you get it read out, on emails. If you write to us on the socials, we'll
appreciate it.
We will politely decline.
But politely, you won't get read out loud.
I'm kidding. We'll take it into consideration.
Very good. Hey, Nick.
Yeah, Tice.
Let's move on to our feature press.
Sounds good, man.
And now for our feature presentation.
All right. Nicholas.
I like that this is a little interlude into, because we're 2 weeks away from October. 2 weeks?
Yeah, we're either 2 or 3 episodes away from Spook-isode's beginning, which is the month where we watch nothing but horror films and then swear at the end of the month that we're never going to watch another horror film in our life for at least a month. And
I'm still good on Saw. I will never.
I don't ever need to watch Saw again.
It's almost been a year and I'm good.
Yeah. That was, if you are interested though, ladies and gentlemen, that is a very fun episode. So please go back to our Spook-isodes from last year, our Halloween special where we ranked all 8 films of the Sword franchise.
Shit.
And fun was had by all involved.
Exactly.
Except for us.
I still dig, man, Jigsaw. I thought Jigsaw, that last one, I thought that was not bad.
I think I rated that like my 4th. I think it was bang in the middle for me.
Yeah. I think it was like my 2nd. I think it went Saw 1 then that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
There you go. I couldn't tell you which one I had. Maybe Saw 3?
Yeah. Didn't even remember what Saw 5 was about?
No. Yeah. As soon as they got Costas Mandalore in there, I was like, what? I can't separate them in my brain.
You, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad. It was a bad time.
But yeah, so this is like a bit of a precursor to our Spook-isodes.
Man, and I like it. We don't do enough. Well, that's the thing. We don't really litter enough horror into the year.
I know, and
we need to do that.
We keep saying we'll save it for October, but then October's over and we've only done 4 or 5 movies.
That's because we've got some things planned. We've got whatever is old is new again. What we haven't watched before.
Yep, exactly. So we want to. I think it's a good idea. I think we'll start doing a bit more horror just randomly throughout the year, and hopefully not waste one of the really good ones that we should do in October.
Exactly.
In like March. But yeah, so this is a bit of a taster.
This is.
It's also interesting because it's definitely the first made-for-TV thing that we've done.
Oh, that's true.
So yeah,
this didn't hit cinemas, did it?
Yeah, and it also might be one of the longest films we've done, surprisingly.
Yeah, that's true. This was a sit-in.
It was a sit-in. Yeah. And look, Nick, if anyone's seen my letterbox, I'm letting the cat out of the bag a little bit, but I enjoyed this.
You did.
I really
liked it more than me, and I own 2 copies of it.
Yeah, that's wild. And this was the first time I've sat down and watched it back to front, for sure.
Right.
I have seen.
You watched the whole. You watched one sitting.
Whoa, we had a 10-minute break in between parts 1 and 2.
Nice. Spoil the kettle.
Because we knew when the part officially ended, because I did some Googling.
Yeah. It's when Stan,
Yep, exactly. So at that moment, pause, put the kettle on, just go to the toilet, and then came back and watched the second half.
I like it.
And I'd seen so many clips of this, like in my lifetime. I'd seen every Pennywise scene.
Yeah.
None of that was a shock to me
Hang
anymore.
on a minute. This isn't the first time you're watching it?
No, as in from like back to front.
Oh.
Like not, legitimately watching it as a film. I reckon I'd seen nearly every scene at different intervals in my life. Do you know what I mean?
Was there any time that you'd sat down and watched it? Apart from this, like you saying that you've seen the clips, does that mean that you're seeing them on YouTube?
No, as in, so like if it was on television, I would have watched 20 minutes of it.
Oh, right.
And then it would have
But
been like,
you've
oh,
never
I've got other stuff to do.
Right.
And then, I've seen Pennywise stuff on YouTube or the GIFs and
memes
everything.
and shit like
Memes, all that stuff. I've watched, countless, analysis, like essay things about it and all that kind of stuff because I just love watching that shit anyway. But first time, back to front, put it on, here's the beginning, and at the end of the night, here's the end.
How'd you go, Tys?
I really liked it, man. Yeah, really liked it.
That's good.
I found it kind of fascinating how much crap it gets.
I think it's a good film. I didn't rate it as highly as you, but by a half. Like it's still. I have fond memories of this. This is a lot of my childhood as well.
Yeah.
I marry this together with kind of. It's not in the same league, of course, but with Stand By Me, it kind of overlaps a little because of the kids thing.
Well, I think generally when people say that they like it, the excuse is, it's because it has nostalgic value for you. It was because you watched it as a kid.
Yeah.
And I don't have that with it. And it has problems, don't get me wrong. It has
100%.
real problems. But I think some of the stuff it gets right, it gets really right.
Yeah.
Spot
on.
And I was really, really enjoying it. And even the second half, which is universally agreed is not as good, to the point of it being almost bad, I think it had some really great moments in it.
Yeah. I don't think it's bad, but there are problems.
It has some bad moments in it, don't get me wrong. Of course. The first part has some bad moments in it. I think overall performances are really uneven.
And I think that's what it is. I think throughout the whole thing, like you'll get a spike where it's really good for a bit and then you'll get a drop, but then there's another spike and you're like, this is really good. Why this isn't, and then it goes bad and you're like, well, okay, you need to pick it up again. And then because it's so long as well, you're like, this is not bad. This is the good kind of evens it out. That's the thing. So
I think so too.
Do you know what I mean? It's not a bad film overall.
Some of the stuff is so good that I'm like, more forgiving of the bad stuff.
Yeah.
Because I see the bad stuff and go, okay, well, you missed the mark on that.
Yeah.
But fuck, you nailed it 10 minutes ago. So I'm still in.
I'm still
I'm still on your side.
Yeah, exactly.
When it comes to picking halves, obviously,
sure.
Do we both agree that the first half is the more successful half?
It is for me, yeah.
Yeah, it is for me too.
Yeah. Especially because is it because, and I tried to pinpoint why, because this is my 10th watching of this thing.
Sure.
So I'm at an analysis point and I'm like, well, why? Why do I like the first half rather than the second? Is it because the kids are more relatable? Is it because the acting is a little bit more real on the kids' side for me? Maybe. Only because the I don't know, the adults aren't just delivering enough for me. You do get some performances in there by the adults that you're like, oh, that was quite nice, especially from the actress who plays Beverly. I thought hers was more stronger, but still I'm leaning towards the kid's side because it's darker almost, because you're getting these adults who have had now, everyone leaves dairy and everyone for some reason is living really successful lives. They've all forgotten about this, which I like, and I'm going to start reading. It's going to be my first, I've already read, my first Stephen King. It is going to be my second Stephen King novel that I want to read. And because I feel like, I don't know, I've never read it, but I feel like this is very true to the novel, especially in the second half. But I wouldn't know.
No, look, it has... and look, I can't speak for it entirely because I haven't read it all. I'm about 3/4 into it. It's one of those ones that I put the long haul into it and I just kind of dry up at a certain point and I really struggle to get through it. Not that it's bad, it's just it's very long.
Yeah.
And
is he one of his longest books?
And the problem is when I get to a certain point, and if I think I've talked about this before, if I stop for a week, it gets really hard for me to pick it up again.
Yeah, sure.
Now I've done that twice where I've gotten to roughly the 600-700 page mark, and
you're going to put it down for a week and you don't pick it back up.
Life gets in the way, and then I feel like I can't pick it up again because I won't remember where I am, and I'll have to reread a bunch, or I'll have to go back a little bit. And I can't be fucked with that.
Reading back a chapter.
But I would say you're not entirely incorrect. There's moment-to-moment stuff comes from the book fairly directly. It's watered down.
Yeah. Watered down, really?
Yeah. No, as in the book is more intense than this. This is watered down a little bit.
Ooh, okay.
But it just gets this kind of... it understands the stakes the way Stephen King is presenting them. And that's what I like about it, is that it's not... it has a feeling to it. The feeling of the camaraderie of the kids, which is hugely important to the success of the story.
Yeah.
I think they do really well. And it's a very self-contained story, but feels really high stakes. And that's something that I was surprised at how well it translated.
Yeah, because they do that quite well in the movie, don't they?
Yeah, which is interesting. Like, it does feel like it's a battle of life and death. Like, it really does feel like it's the most important thing they'll do in their lives. And
they're the only ones that can do it.
And that
know
moment
about it.
of choice, jumping straight to the end, where they decide, yes, they are going to go back in. You feel the weight of that decision.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, getting that stuff right is important and does enough, even though they change a lot of stuff throughout.
Yeah. But yeah, the kids half is kind of the better half.
Yeah, considering like none of these kids really went on to do anything other than Seth Green.
Jonathan Brandis.
I mean, obviously Jonathan Brandis, R.I.P. Which was really sad, really, when I kind of investigated a bit further. I didn't realise...
You didn't know that?
No, what had happened.
Yeah.
I knew he passed away. But obviously we're recording on Are You OK Day, which I guess is, ask somebody if they're okay.
Yeah.
And so that was really sad because I think he's really great in this.
I think he is the best in this.
Yeah.
I'll go one more.
Yeah, I think he's better than any of the adult cast as well.
100%. You're getting a lot of, like, when he's on his own and like that moment where he goes off on his own and says, "Where are you now?" to the monster and kind of help me. That's some
really
decent acting chops in there, man.
I got really kind of emotional about that, and it was those moments that I was like, "Oh, I'm invested. I'm actually invested."
Yeah,
I think it almost caught me off guard because I was laughing at some of the hokier stuff. I was like, "Oh yeah, well that looks a bit crap," and blah blah blah. How's that stop motion fucking bathroom and like shit like that?
Yeah,
and then a scene like that happens, and I'm like, "Oh, I really like these kids.
Yeah.
I think they're really
And it's
really
great because he's the leader. Like, he is, he's charging and he's the best at the acting. So he kind of brings it all together as well.
And it's beautiful because, like, no matter how popular you were in high school or unpopular, I think everybody feels like an outcast in high school. Like, it's just, aside from maybe very few individuals, that high school is just the greatest thing in the world, the high school quarterback. Like, everybody feels...
Peaked in high school, man. That's not a good thing.
Nobody wants to peak in high school. So you watch these kids and there's a real... wonderful nostalgic feeling that they found each other, and look, it was through this awful thing,
absolutely,
but
especially with all of them, which I think is such quintessential to get right. And I think that this actually does better than the remake, what I'm about to talk about, which is Henry Bowers. I think Henry Bowers, the bully, is so good in this one rather than the next one. The remake.
Sure.
I thought he was so good, and that kind of bounds them all together. And one of the best, my favourite scenes in this one is when Mike is the last to join them. They're all hanging out. They've just realised that they're all seeing Pennywise.
Yep.
And then Mike just runs up to them and says, "Help me."
Yep.
And they help him. And we're a bit of a club. We're a bit of a losers club. Do you want in? And he goes, "Yeah, I do." Yeah. And I'm
exactly.
like, God, that is so nice.
It's a really great moment
so
because
good.
If for all we know about Mike, it might be the first time that anyone's stood up for him.
Yeah.
Or
reached out to him as friend.
We're talking about 1950s Maine. We're talking about an African American kid in
Middle America,
in real Middle America. Yeah. I'm sure life would not be pleasant for him. And this group of people that it was without question. It was somebody needs our help.
Yeah,
we will help them. Yeah. I think the Henry Bowers is.
You don't like Henry Bowers?
No, I do like him. I think they've both got their strengths and weaknesses. I like that in the new one, Henry is more threatening.
Yeah.
But I like in this one how he's more believably crazy.
Yeah. In the new one, though, they have to up the ante because bullying of this kind in the 90s one wouldn't really pass in today's society. You need to go a little further.
Yeah, well, yeah, obviously,
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
And maybe it felt like it was like they just had to turn it up to 11. But
yeah.
I like what they do with Henry Bowers in the new one because he seems more like a result of this curse on this town.
Yeah.
Whereas in this one, he actually just seems like that bad influence that exists everywhere. Like it's like we have this opportunity, we have this example of, and this is what Stephen King does a lot with his villain. He's kind of he has like a main villain, and then he has like an example of a human corruption villain.
Yeah.
Somebody that is just, it is in their soul, and if you give them the opportunity, they will, that part of their soul will expose itself. And I really like he uses that a lot, and I actually really love it because it shows you his good characters, because his good characters are never like blanket good people. You know what I mean? They're complicated characters, but there's something at the bottom line when push comes to shove, they will make the right choice.
Right.
And Henry Bowers is an example of the opposite of that. He will make the self-interest choice.
Yeah. And I like the contrast because Stephen King writes about whether it's monsters or aliens or some kind of bad element, but you're also getting a human element of that same elk.
Well, he's always far more interested in, how would humans react in that situation? It's a bit Romero. It's the Romero thing as well. Is the real enemies of the humans in these situations, and Stephen King takes that, has definitely taken that and run with it as well. So I get what you're saying. I like them both equally for different reasons.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say either one was better or worse. I'm going to say something controversial. We'll get back to it.
Oh,
I like new Pennywise much more.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
This is controversial. Are you kidding me?
No.
You prefer Bill Skarsgård's performance rather than the infamous Tim Curry?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
I know, because this is the thing. I've always found it kind of like,
is it because of the memes?
Maybe. Look, I'm going to say maybe.
It's watered him the fuck down.
I get what you're saying. I always thought that there was more to it. Like, so I saw all the funny ones, like the, Kiss Me Fat Boy, and which I love, by the way. It makes me laugh out loud every time I see it. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Just the way he leans back and he's like, ha!
Yeah. Or the free hugs in here and he's outside that meme. I've seen that fucking forever, my God. But yeah, it's taking away from his performance.
I always thought there'd be more.
Right.
That like there would be, and I'd be like, there would be more that I haven't seen that are the real scary. And it's like, wait, no, there's not. It's actually, it's just him being a clown. And then it cuts to him with teeth.
Yeah. You thought there was more? Okay, yeah, I'm seeing what you're saying.
And so I was kind of like, all right, cool. And I sat down and watched, and I was like, I see the choice that they've made because, but this is something that and like I said, this is controversial. I know not everyone's going to agree with me.
That's fine. You're allowed your opinion.
The new one, what it did really interestingly with Pennywise, was that you saw how he would be attractive to the children because he had an ability to be incredibly creepy, but charismatic. Like you watch that first scene with Georgie. And we as adults can see that there is something very wrong with this creature.
Yeah.
But the way he performed it, you could see how kids would fall for the charm of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
That first scene with Georgie in the sewer, comparatively, there's no question to me which one I find more effective.
Oh, hell yeah.
And in this one, they've gone flat out, he's a clown until he isn't.
Yeah.
And
until he's got you.
And then
he changes.
By that point, he's already got you, and it's just a random close-up of his teeth. And I'm like, I don't find that actually very threatening.
No. But I understand what you're saying, especially because I remember there's moments in Bill's performance where he's kind of lost. You don't see anything. He's not staring at anything, and then he snaps, and you're like, whoa,
he feels
really
much more like
petrifying.
an alien as well, which I appreciate.
Because it's a front. Like he's not a clown. It's actually a monster.
It's something it's in this new one, they've perfectly captured an alien that does not understand human nature, but knows that kids like clowns.
Yeah.
That version of a clown. That's what it's done. This, to me, is a bit more in line with like the serial killer dressed as a clown.
Yeah, people
kind
are
of
scared
vibe.
of clowns, and I'm going to play on that. Yeah.
And I think Tim Curry is great. I've always loved Tim Curry, and he makes me laugh, and maybe that's a problem as well, is that I find him very funny.
Okay.
I find his delivery of stuff like, I'm laughing along. Like when he's up in the bank or in the library and hanging shit on Richie Tozer. Yeah,
that was just hilarious.
I'm laughing my ass off because it's so funny.
It is funny.
And he's doing that trick when he puts his hand in his thing, he's going...
And the jokes that he's saying, is your refrigerator running? And it's his voice as well.
Exactly.
You better catch it before it runs away, and you're like, oh, this isn't scary. This is just kind of funny.
Yeah, so the image of Pennywise, what it all represents and the way he can tap into your fears, that part is still affecting to me.
Yeah.
But the clown in the new one is hideous. And when it appears, it gives me, like, chills.
Yeah.
I don't feel that at all in this. At all. Like, I think, not even a little bit.
Yeah, fair. I'll agree with you on that point that the clowns are like the newer Bill's version is more scarier. It's a scarier version.
Yeah,
I think Tim's performance and his not performance but line delivery on some lines are a lot more scarier as well, because are a bit more scarier for me.
Okay,
I think the line. It's one of my favourites. I think that first Georgie scene on both films are amazing. Sure. I think they're both great for different reasons, obviously. Mm-hmm. But the line delivery that Tim gives when he grabs Georgie's arm and says, "You'll float too," and just pulls his arm, I'm like, that is fucking petrifying. Like his line delivery was so good on that. I can picture it just in my head. But where was I going with that? The other thing that I liked that Tim did as well was he changed, the camera would slow and you would see him change face and turn. It was not always the teeth, it was the bed, it was the one where you see it really well is the why are there always
the first kill through the clothesline?
Through the clothesline, and he frowns and kind of snarls and sort of like that. That's the other one
I liked that moment, but it went so quickly that I didn't have a chance to allow it to kind of
to sit in,
to then make me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. Plus, it was too quick. There need to be more of those moments, because there weren't more of just those single moments. It was a little bit more funny, especially like when he does scare the characters with something that they're afraid of. So when Beverly goes back to her house and her father comes to life and attacks her with the lady that serves the tea that's blood.
Yeah.
And he yells out, like, that was a good moment, but then all of a sudden Pennywise appears and it's and he's standing out the front of it. I'm like, that's not scary. You kind of actually ruined what just happened by standing out the front and just going and laughing like that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wow, you almost had it. Now it's not scary anymore because it's just turned back into Tim Curry. Whereas her father chasing after her, I'm like, oh my God, get out. It's way more petrifying.
And I think, there's an opportunity to have more kind of crossover between the clown and the next image that whatever he's chosen.
Sure.
Like, in this we get random Pennywise body and dog head and stuff like that.
I actually forgot about that.
Which is odd.
That was a bad moment. That was a bad time.
But like maybe we see kind of like a weird deformed version of Pennywise the clown and dad/old lady zombie. Like, I don't know. Like, exactly. I'm not saying that would fix anything, but
no.
I think, and Tim Curry's too clean. Costume.
It is a clean,
and I think it all stems back to what I was saying before about how I think their choice was to say no, he should look like a clown that is not threatening at first, and it's the performance that makes him threatening. I think the new one has struck a perfect balance of that, whereas he can appear that way until suddenly he doesn't, but it's not because of just a facial change. It's suddenly what he's wearing just becomes weird.
Yeah,
like.
Because what he's wearing is dilapidated and old, and it's scary. Whereas Tim's outfit is pristine.
But
I think you got to remember back in 1990, clowns.
They hadn't quite had their resurgence,
and this was that moment.
Sure.
Like, people are scared of clowns because of this movie. Like, obviously, clowns have been scary for years in circus performing. Like chlorophobia, which is being scared of clowns, existed before 1990 Stephen King's It.
Yeah.
You know, but this is the one that had people. They put a face to that fear, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're going to remember this clean clown or whatever.
Oh, yeah. And this is, for people of roughly our generation, we
They'll
were
go to
all
that.
at that age where we were, if something got into our brains, it lived with us forever.
Yeah.
So that's why, a lot of people our generation are saying, oh, yeah, I'm terrified of clowns. Oh, it's because of Stephen King's It.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah.
So I get it. I totally get it. I just, it's fun. It's looking at it now with certain eyes. I do feel like, while that part of this is being heavily praised, and I see why, it's not the part for me that I think worked.
Yeah.
I would say there are performances elsewhere that I enjoy more than the Pennywise thing, and it got to a point where the Pennywise stuff was the less interesting stuff to me.
Especially in the second half.
Yeah, I found...
Although, do you know why? Do you know what this movie... It wasn't the interactions with Pennywise that scared me. It was him, but it was him when he was far away and he wasn't talking. When Ben goes back to see his dad and his dad is in the middle of a lake thing and it's just his dad waving and he's got pom-poms, three pom-poms on, that is petrifying. Or when he drives, one of the characters drives past and Tim's just outside holding balloons.
Yeah, it's Ben again.
My God.
I think that's my favourite one. That is one I had seen before, but it's the wave and then the change to the point. That's, to me, I think that's probably the best one. Yeah. That's the best scare. I'm trying to think of another one that was as effective.
The other scare that actually you're going to laugh. And if you don't laugh, it's something's wrong with you. Do you know what jump scared me?
What?
Do you remember when Ben goes back and the skeleton came out of the lake at the bottom?
Yeah.
I went, whoa, fucking Jesus Christ.
I don't mind that skeleton effect. It's pretty good.
I was like, Nick, what did you just get scared of? You've seen this a billion times.
Yeah.
I don't remember that part. God, that was funny.
But as far as... All right, well then... I was just thinking in my head, I was like, okay, so... Well, I was just thinking...
Was the Georgie part scary for you?
No.
Okay.
But
that Georgie, he was... Oh, you couldn't have got a more innocent kid, could you?
That kid,
you didn't like him?
No, he was great because he did exactly what you needed to do. He's not a human being. He's the most straight out of Leave It to Beaver.
I know, right?
Beaver
He's
kid
like
I've
on the
ever
Arnott's
seen in my life.
biscuit packet kid.
Oh my God, 100%.
Oh, gee shucks, Bill.
I know.
I'm going to get my boat and I'm going to put it out. I wish you could I love you, Bill.
I know.
And it's just
I better not talk to strangers. I was like, oh, man.
I know, he's not a real human
golden
being.
book.
Yeah, exactly. They should have coloured his cheeks in pink.
Exactly. Happy little veggie mates, as bright can be.
He's unbearably cute.
Yeah. Unbearably. Maybe pull his arm off. Is that what you're saying? Shit.
Time to go, buddy. Get some perspective.
That's horrible.
So now that because I was just thinking about it, I was like, so I liked this, right?
Right.
Now, a lot of people would say the reason why they like this is because of Tim Curry. I didn't. That's not the reason for me. And now I was just like, oh, so now I need to defend why I like it.
Okay.
And now I'm
you don't have to.
Well, I think I probably do.
You're allowed to like
I'll
it.
fucking like what I want to like. You fuckers.
Can't tell me what I want to do.
Exactly. But I will say I found let's go to part one for a little bit. Let's talk about part one for a little bit. I think that the performances across the board are really quite strong on the kids.
Yep.
There's some hokey dialogue, which it's hard to get past. But if I look at the bond between this group of kids and the bond in the new one, I think I prefer the bond in this group of kids.
Yeah, I was going to agree. That's one of my notes. Yeah.
Because there are some, don't get me wrong, I quite like the new one. I thought it was pretty great.
I love it. It's great.
And there were some moments in it that I think are wonderful. I think they handle the Beverly blood stuff. It's far more important in the new one, and I'm glad they made that choice. It's great.
Yep.
But to me, nothing beats that scene of them building the dam together.
With the montage? Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And the way that when Ben, Bill, and Eddie first meet, that's a lovely that scene breaks my heart. It is so good. It's so good.
Which is why, later when Ben goes down there and he sees another kid getting bullied who is also large. He's like, hang in there, champ. You're going to make it, And I'm like, it's hokey as hell, but it kind of
it works,
hits you right in the heart.
Of course it does. It has to. I mean, he probably should have done more than just...
No, he needed... That was enough.
You reckon you could just
No,
go,
that was
"Hey,
enough."
Can you get the fuck out of here, you jerks?
Oh, you mean step in?
Not
Yeah.
like fully step in and like beat up a bunch
No,
of kids.
just yell, "Oi."
But just a moment of like,
Oi!
oi, get out of here.
Yeah.
You know?
You're done here, gents.
Yeah, exactly.
See you later, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, jog on.
Save it for another day.
Jog on.
But yeah, there's a little line of dialogue where Ben's saying, "Oh, what you do is you do this and you do this," and I think it's Eddie that stops him and says, "Well, what we do, you mean?"
Yeah.
And I was just like,
Yeah.
"Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Just the welcoming nature of those guys.
Yeah.
Like you really see. I feel like in the new one, there's a little bit of not. You don't really understand why they're hanging out until it becomes that they're hanging out to defeat Pennywise.
Yeah, there's no moment.
Yeah. I believe that this group want to hang out anyway and just also happen to have to defeat an evil clown.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, because they were hanging out anyway in the dam, and then all of a sudden, all of them came together and went, "Are you seeing a clown?"
Their immediate like love for each other, like when Stan has his little meltdown, and they all just rally around him so quickly.
Oh yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
There's something, and I don't know, maybe it's just aesthetically, I prefer their little huddle over the blood thing and holding
the blood
hands
thing
that they do
of the second, of the sequel. Sorry.
Yeah, I'd have to rewatch the remake just to see. Now I should definitely rewatch it just to kind of compare, because obviously I haven't seen it since just after it came out. But yeah, there are moments that I was like, I think I liked that more, and I probably shouldn't, because everyone says that.
It's so good.
The new stuff is really, really great.
I'm going to watch it again, because I'm going to watch it going into the chapter 2.
I do want to watch it again before.
I can't not do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, geez, it was good. It was really good. I remember rating it really high. I remember like it was one of the things that I was going to like, out of all the things that could have been remade, out of all the remakes that we get and redos and god damn it, all this shit.
Yep.
I wanted an It remake. It was time. It's something that could be done, and they did it so well. You know what I mean?
I think it's right for it, because I mean we didn't have a cinematic version of it, so
yeah, exactly.
By all means, go nuts. Take these made-for-TV Stephen King things and go crazy on them. Like
exactly,
have a stab.
Yeah,
I got no issues with that. It doesn't feel like you're trying to cash in. It doesn't feel like it's a remake for a remake's sake.
Exactly,
it feels like
it's
an
not
opportunity.
A franchise that you've spun off or anything like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was good. It was really good. What have I? Because we're on the chapter for the first chapter.
Yep.
Let me start with my first notes. So in chapter 1, what we get is the adults in the kids in their adult life getting called by Mike to say that it's come back.
Yeah.
If you had done something like this, if you had defeated an evil presence as a kid, tell me you're not going to tell your partner, like at some point, oh, this happened.
So that's interesting, because this is something that I know from the book, and I was wondering if they translated it well enough in the series. So maybe they don't.
And then, so that's my first note. So obviously this is what I wrote under Bill's one, but when I get there to the end and they come back, they've actually forgotten, haven't they? They actually don't remember anything.
No, but that's
on purpose, because I'm guessing that Dairy has a presence, and when you leave, you forget it.
Yes,
sort of like
that. This is how they explain how Pennywise has managed to survive for so long.
Yeah,
is that unless while you're in Derry, you're kind of crippled by your fear. When you leave Derry, there is a force at work that makes you forget the bad things that happen in Derry.
Right.
And it's also I've heard of this. I feel like there's two reasons for this as well. That they were all extremely successful.
Right.
Is that's part of the curse of Derry, is that they were the only people that were managed to actually defeat Pennywise, and so it's the curse is trying to keep them away. So it's made them incredibly successful when they've left, so that they have no desire to come back. Right.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it's a really interesting element to it, in that whole idea of the way that they all react to being told, and you see, like, I think some of the shots are a bit kind of like a bit over the top, and the performances are a bit hokey. Like the guy that plays Stan, who just starts going, oh gee, oh gee, and it's just kind of like, doing that. So I was like, what does he do again? And it's tugging his ear. Yeah, I was like, some of it that's a bit much, but I think the idea of it's really cool.
Yeah,
I think that, and this is the thing, like the book itself is full of fucking great ideas.
Yeah,
and some coked out nightmares that are probably better than aren't in any of these series.
Amazing.
But
I can't wait.
Yeah, but like that for me, that is one of the like many little things that draw me to the story so much, is that kind of that mystery around it.
I do love, my second note is, I love, this is one of the things I love in film, when especially in a horror movie, if it's the town, if a town has a characterization, or you feel that presence of that town,
yes,
like I really love it. If a town is cursed, I love that. That's one of my favourite things.
I get a bit over that whole cliche of,
this town is cursed.
New York is a character, or,
you don't like that?
No, I don't like it when it's used badly. I think this is when it's used really well.
Okay. Well, I didn't feel it in this. Derry didn't have a feeling for me.
It's a good point. It has a much more of a feeling in the remake.
In the remake, yeah. Because the one that I tune it to the most is, you're going to laugh, which is either Castle Rock, in Stand By Me, you feel Castle Rock.
Yep.
That's a place you live. The other is Gotham City.
Sure.
You feel the presence of Gotham City.
Yeah, and it's an obvious one, but it's a great example of it. Yeah, for sure. You're right. It was
so
kind
I didn't really
it was
feel
missing
Derry,
a little bit of that,
which I wanted to, but I love a town that is cursed. Bring that on.
Yeah, for sure.
I love that. Especially the other one is Springwood, which you get in the first 3, but you don't really get any more. Or you get it in 6, which is not Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah. Good point. Well, that's part of the curse as well, is that there's this, like,
there's a line, there's a barrier that you cross.
Yeah,
when you cross
exactly.
it, you feel it straight away.
Yeah. And it causes people to, I think it brings out the worst in people in that sense that, like, we'd assume so, but there's an argument to be made that the reason why Beverly's father is abusive to her is because it was probably already in him,
right.
but the town brings it out. Yeah. Like it gives manifestation to people's inner evils. Yeah. And also in people's good, they're too afraid. It puts fear into them. Yeah. And so there's that whole thing that, good for evil to exist, all it takes is good people to not do anything or to stand by and not act. Yeah. And that's essentially what this town represents, is that the good people are too scared to come forward and do something about it, and the bad people have their inner evil come out.
Take over.
Yeah.
I did like that.
It's like a hot box.
I forgot a lot of the second half.
Yeah, sure.
In this watching, and I forgot the scene where Henry Bowers has Beverly at the front of her house, and the neighbor just turns away. Yeah, and what you said just then resonated with that.
Yeah, that's
he's not going to do anything because
textual example of it. Yeah,
yeah.
And there's a few in the remake as well. There's the one where like when Ben is about to get cut in the belly, and there's the car drives past, and they just see it happening and just keep going. Yeah, I think that adds to the kind of the hopelessness of it all as well. Yeah, like that the overwhelming evil. Like, and it feels like unwinnable odds. Yeah, like you're not gonna... and I think that's part of what I was talking about before, is that I felt really strongly in this is the stakes of it. Like, and that all adds up to that idea that these kids are so outmatched, outgunned. They and it's such a courageous act what they're going to do, and that's why you love them so much, because they're innocent kids who are the only people that are willing to stand up and say enough is enough. Yeah, we need to do something about this. And I think it's also kind of cool because maybe it is a childish idea, but to just be like, well, fuck it, we'll just go down there and fight a monster. Yeah. But maybe it takes kids. It takes that kind of childishness.
But I like that it doesn't say that together they're going to beat it, but it is because they're together. It is. Yeah. If they're not together, they're not going to beat it. They're more powerful together. They're not strong enough aside from each other, and that's it's because they genuinely love each other, and so when they're with each other, they don't feel fear. That's the thing, is that they know that the guy standing next to them has their back no matter what. Exactly. And so the fear, they don't, and Pennywise feeds on the fear. The only reason he can survive is the fear. Yeah. So yeah, it's a nice story. Like, it is, for a story about a demented alien clown that eats the arms off people, it's really heartwarming. And I think that's where he eats the arms. Leaves the rest.
That's where I kind of came away from this. I'm coming around. This is why I'm defending my 3.5 stars. Yep. Is because that part of the story, and look, it's just in the book, and so even if this was an awful adaptation of it, but still had that heart in it, I'd probably still like it. Okay. Having been said, it's an okay adaptation, and it's full of heart, and so I love it. Yeah. Love it. I really like it.
What else you got?
I'll talk from a technical standpoint.
Oh, sure.
I think it has problems.
Of course. It was the 90s.
Yeah, I think the made-for-TV-ness of it is,
and that's what you feel. You feel that made for TV a little.
It's lit like a talk show.
Yeah,
like it's awful.
It's bad, isn't it? Especially the scenes on. There's a lot of on location in this thing, and I feel like, we could use something here, like a filter or something, because this looks bad.
It's like middle of the day, sun is out, but it's cloudy as fuck, so everything is like high contrast, and you're like, oh, Jesus.
This looks horrible. Like that graveyard scene when Bill goes back for the first time, and he goes to visit Georgie.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, this could be an amazing scene. But because you lit it like that,
exactly.
It looks so
you
shit.
You could use shadow, like that overcast feeling should make you feel kind of morose, and it doesn't at all.
No.
It's like it's that glare when it's a really cloudy day, but it's still glary as fuck, so you have to wear sunglasses.
Yeah.
That's how I felt watching this movie.
You're in the middle of the fucking snow, and you're like, Jesus
although
Christ,
the
it's
set
fucking bright.
stuff was like the studio set stuff was pretty strong. I really liked the design of the sewer.
That was really good, wasn't it? That was really good.
Yeah.
Before and after as well.
Yeah.
Like when the adults went in and went, oh, you've done well here.
Yeah, it was cool.
That was good.
But yeah, it's lit horribly, and I also like it's a cause of it being made for television, but the aspect ratio really hurts the film as well.
Yeah. Because we're going to talk about it eventually. The ending also felt very telemovie.
Yes.
Yeah.
The ending is 100% the worst part, I think, of this whole movie.
100%.
And because this is what I was talking about before, I love the stakes. What's at stake in this? Because it feels real.
But you get you get those stakes as adults, like the fact that Richie goes, "Did anyone think to bring a fucking machine gun?"
I don't think a machine gun's going to cut it, really.
Yeah,
but it's it's a valid point.
But that's the good thing, like that, and they say that, like, Richie, we're going in with silver. Like, this is, we're either going to win or I doubt a machine gun's going to help us.
That's it. It's a shame that they built up so much goodwill and made you feel like that this was, like I said, the fight of their lives, that they win the day by pushing over a plastic spider.
Yeah.
And like,
with arms.
And then like going all fucking Dawn of the Dead on it.
Yeah. It was weird.
Is Bill's face when he pulls its heart out a little bit too like, I'm going to eat this heart.
He was, yeah.
What's that all about?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, I don't like it.
I do like the silhouette, the fact that they did that, because it made it slightly better. Because had they shown what they were silhouetting,
I just wanted him to fucking just drop it on his face and just be like, whoa.
Full Gallagher style?
Yeah.
No.
They just kind of just beat the shit out of it. And
they do.
Do you know what's funny? They beat the shit out of it in the remake, and it's fucking wonderful. Yeah. And it's actually one of my favourite parts.
And it's coming together as
and I think I talked about it. It's probably one of my favourite movie moments of that year, because I did mention it.
Oh, did you?
Was Richie saying, and now you're going to have to now you're making me beat up this fucking clown.
That's right. You did say that.
And
I remember that.
I
have to
my
beat this
fist
fucking clown up.
Pumped like at that moment, because
kill the clown.
Yeah, because it's so great, and they just get nowhere near that in this, which is really unfortunate. So the ending feels really deflating. You're just kind of like, oh, that was it? Okay.
Especially what's more poignant that makes that ending deflating is when they attack him for the first time. Like, something as small as "this is battery acid, you slime," which is such a hokey thing to do, works a treat.
Oh, because,
I thought them attacking him was so good.
But that whole idea is then removed. Like, the idea that it is susceptible to their imaginations when they work together is such a strong idea. And it's what's the other movie that does this? Where
they make up what can happen to it? Jeepers Creepers?
Or am I thinking of I might be thinking of Bill and Ted's, where they're like, oh, it's okay, I'll go back in time and I'll put sandbags there. Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
I think that's what you're thinking of.
No, but I think that's a really great idea. Like,
station,
really,
yeah,
station. So, and they don't really use it enough anyway at the end of part one. No. I think they could use it more.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it shouldn't just be one puff of the asthma spray and then the thing. They should all have to use their imagination together to do something.
Yeah, or at least hold him down or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and show that they have that their imagination brings out their courage. Like, that would be, that'd be really great. And I'm not sure. To be honest, I can't remember what happens exactly in the book. At that point,
I need to read this book.
Yeah, it's such a blur for me, because now I've got
you've got
three different versions rolling around in my head.
Exactly.
But yeah, and then the ending, it's none of that at all. No, it's,
You don't get shit.
They don't get shit.
No.
All she does is she knocks out the deadlights with a fucking bit of silver.
Yeah.
And then literally, they give it a
beat the
beat
shit
down.
out of it.
Yeah.
And just
like
rip
it
it
owes them
apart.
money.
Like rip it apart like Mortal Kombat style. I'm like, what the hell? And pulling chunks out. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like it was trying to cheat in a casino. That's the way they beat it up.
How bad did it look coming out? Like when it first came out, I'm like, oh, this is cheap.
Look, it's disappointing, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do? We watch, like, think of a movie like...
Are you kidding me?
I'm trying to think of a good example. Think of like any of that, like 80s fantasy stuff where it's like, oh, watch out for the giant beast monster, and this thing comes out that's clearly stop motion and has a model,
suit.
and it just you can see it on certain angles, but don't move it because it's not filmed well because it's too exposed into what
not
it is.
Enough shadows, man.
Yeah.
Use those shadows. Like when you first saw, remember when you first saw Return of the King and Shelob came out of nowhere, and you were like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Don't even talk to me about that. That was the year of giant CGI spiders too, because that was...
that is massive. Like, I knew Shelob was going to be big, but fucking run!
Right around that time was when Chamber of Secrets came out as well, and there's a giant CGI spider section in that.
Yeah.
I was not coping with going to the movies, man. Having said that, I wasn't in love with the Harry Potter series at that point because all I had seen, I hadn't read them, and I'd only seen the first movie, which I hate.
Aragog, man. Yeah, that first movie sucks.
There's
elements. No, you know what? I'll go back. There are elements of that movie that are good, but most of it is just Harry Potter asking Hagrid, what is that?
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, Harry, shut up.
That's what this is. Next.
Yeah.
You're
a wizard, Harry.
I do love Shelob,
Aragog,
though.
man. Aragog,
Shelob all the way.
Shelob all the way?
Yeah.
Well, that's because Aragog is, a giant puppet.
Yeah, I don't need him talking. Although I like it when it's Aragog that comes back in the fifth one and eats the cat lady, yeah? Not Tilda Swinton, Imelda Staunton?
No, she gets carried away by centaurs.
Oh, it's the centaurs.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, she gets carried away by centaurs. No, I like that. You know what I like about Shelob? I love that we're getting way off here.
That's all right.
No, we need to talk about it. We're talking about
better cinematic spiders.
Exactly. No, what I like about Aragog is the fact that he goes, friend of Hagrid, I can't let you leave my forest now. My children are hungry. And you're like, oh, this is turning bad? This is turning bad. Okay, we need to leave now.
Yeah.
That's what I like. Whereas Shelob, you're like, just fucking run. Try and run. You're a hobbit. You're not going to run fast. But
that sequence is so good. Isn't it just the best?
It is petrifying.
There are parts of Return of the King that I like. If you took them out of context, people would just be like, "This is the greatest movie ever made." I think because they're all in one movie, we take it for granted just how fucking good those three movies are.
Best picture.
Yeah. Anyway.
As far as movie spiders go, it turns out 1990, not that good.
No, it doesn't
not
take
that
the
good.
cake,
You know what I will say though, Tyson?
Yeah.
What sat in my mind and still sits in my mind when I think about this film is that shot. Whoever did, I even wrote it down. Whoever did location scouting for its lair on the outer to look at whatever sewer is over the lake.
Over the lake.
Spot on.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
That is the most petrifying
Apparently
place
still exists.
I've... What?
Yeah.
Oh,
Still a
fuck
place
me.
you can visit it. Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay, I've got to go.
It's not a...
Where is it?
It's not a sewer plant. It's something else. I can't remember where it is, but
Jesus Christ.
it's not in action anymore.
Petrifying.
Yeah, it's got a real great look to it, doesn't it?
God damn it. Because it's so off in the distance.
Yeah.
Oh, it's scary.
I
like it. Those are the moments that I like. But this is like knowing what you like about horror, I think helps with things like this. And for me, it's little things that don't make sense. Like Pennywise standing on the side of the road waving. That's kind of like, oh, okay, yep, I'm cool. It's a little scary for me.
Yeah.
And then you turn and there's a balloon in the fucking car.
I love that moment.
Shit.
I wish the balloon said, "Go home, fat boy." It would have made it so much funnier.
Fat boy.
Kiss me, fat boy. Okay, so I've never done that out loud. I might do a good. I think I'd do a good Tim Curry Pennywise.
Yeah, do it.
That wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I'm going to save it. I'm just going to leave it at that because forever, that's actually my best impersonation I've done on the show.
I was actually practicing while watching the movie. I actually can do it, but I don't want to do it now because yours was so good.
Who knew? I'm keeping that one in the back pocket and cracking it out.
I like it.
So I'm going to take. I've got my least favorite shot of the movie.
Oh, sure.
I've got a couple, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think the
Have you got your... Hang on, wait. Before you start this, have you got your favourite shot?
I'll give you my favourite shot first.
Sure,
Do you want
okay.
to know that? My favourite shot is almost at the very end, where the camera tracks the boat as it returns when they're adults and they're down the sewer.
The boat? Yes.
And the boat slides along.
Very good.
I love it. It follows the boat. Shot. The colours of it's got this purple and yellowy kind of aesthetic. There's some lights being shot from somewhere. Having just talked about during Swordfish how I hate lights with no source. Works good here because we're in a fantasy world and it's okay.
Yep. And it goes right up until you see like all these skulls and bones. You're like, fuck.
It just looks great. And I love the way they're posed while they watch it coming towards them and it tracks into them. It's really great. It's a beautiful shot.
Very well done.
Loved it. I think my least favourite shot is... There's two, I'm going to say. The first one is the random shot of the moon that Pennywise just appears in. Because... if you can't be more creative than to think, okay, so he appears in the moon in the book. Okay, sure. How are we going to do this? Okay. If the best you can do is that... I feel like you didn't really put in your hours work.
Blue screen, Pennywise's face onto the moon.
Like that's someone's first idea.
It's cheap,
can we just superimpose it?
No, it's cheap. You know what's better? You might as well come on, at least stop motion it, because at least stop motion you get a feel of it there. Like stop motion his face onto the moon.
Yeah,
not hard.
And I assume that Henry Bowers is only like imagining that he's in the moon, like that's how he sees it. So and if Pennywise is this eternal creature that has the power to do anything, I just think there could have been a more creative way to do it. And so he pops up and I'm just like, well, that's dumb. And it looks awful because it's this static moon matte painting and then him just talking on top of it. But the other one is sadly one of my favourite moments, ruined by the
shot of...
Well, no, it's ruined by the fact that they had to do it this way because of the aspect ratio. So it's the bit where just after they've had the rock fight and they get rid of Henry Bowers, and the camera goes to each of them as they say something to Mike for the first time. Except it takes 4 hours because we're in an aspect ratio where we can only fit one head in the screen at a time because of the wideness of the shot. So we sit on one and then it's like a bit of awkward silence. Slowly the camera, like you can feel the guy going to the next person. Whereas if we were in widescreen, obviously we would be able to have a nice shot. They could potentially be all in shot. They could be in profile. We could do something really nice with it. Yeah. That was the time when I really realized that I'm disappointed that this is in a 4:3 aspect ratio. I'd love it to be widescreen of some description.
I watched it on Blu-ray and I thought that had changed, but it wasn't. It was in that format. Like, fuck.
Well, it has to be because they wouldn't have...
Yeah, it was telly.
They would have footage at the side, but it would be like... there's this thing that I follow on YouTube. There are these guys that have been basically just hanging shit on the HD remasters of Buffy, right?
Right.
Which is... and it's with good cause because they've ruined it, right?
Right.
It was directed and shot to television. Be displayed in 4:3. Sure. Like that was the whole purpose of it. So you're compromising the vision of the director by changing it to 4:3.
Sure.
But also because of that, so they've forgotten and have just not bothered to remove it. The fact that a lot of times there would be things at the edges of the frames that people don't want you to see.
Right.
That they go, oh, it's all cool. We're cutting it out anyway because it's going to be for 4:3.
That's horrible.
So when they've blown these up to widescreen or allowed the widescreen vision to go, there's like dudes with boom mics. There's like...
Seriously?
Yeah. Like there's random extras that aren't like ready to go that are just kind of like...
Oh my God.
Standing there waiting for their cue, waiting to hit their mark. It's money. It's always money. They don't want to spend the money to do a proper HD remaster.
And cut it.
But they want to be able to say, hey, check it out. We have a Buffy HD. This is the way you should watch it.
Fuck off, man.
Yeah, it's really disappointing.
Do it right or don't do it.
So that's, in that regard, I'm glad that we didn't get a weirdly kind of blown up widescreen version.
Yeah.
But there's so many limitations because of it. And I feel them in a story this big. This story is huge. And it feels like it just takes away from it a little bit.
Yeah. What characters or what bits didn't work for you? I can tell you two for me. One for me was Bill's wife. Now I know that kind of it added a little bit to it. Actually, no. You know what? I take that back.
It added nothing to it.
It was just a pain. Like I'd rather it not be there.
No, because it wasn't
like
Sorry, you go.
Taking away from that at the start, her talking to, like, the scenes of her talking to the publicist, whoever the fuck that guy was, I was like, why is this even in this movie? Why is this a thing?
Or perhaps an opportunity. That's like
horribly
oh, come on, man.
sleazy and
Isn't it
shit.
just? I love the way
Like,
she
it was
handles it. She's just like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what we're actually talking about,
exactly.
please.
Yeah, I didn't like that. And him on Silver, like at the end when his wife kind of wakes up and stuff like that, I'm like, I didn't like that either.
It was a real shame because I loved the scene of them getting back on the bike and having a good time.
That was great.
I think I'm so glad the movie took the time to allow them to actually go, oh, do you know what? Also, we haven't seen each other in 30 years.
We're going to have some
You're
fun.
my best friend.
Yeah. Or you're one of.
Yeah. I actually love you.
Yeah.
And let's have a good time.
Yeah. And I love the ending of that scene. Jesus, that's good. How he gets out the cards, he flips them, and they just go, and they look at it, and he says his name. He goes, Bill? He goes, yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the end of that scene.
Yeah.
Beautiful. My God, that was good. And you just hear Pennywise laugh in the background. That is some mint stuff right there. What the other thing that I don't like is just, I don't like the character of Stan as a kid or as an adult.
I don't think we're meant to. I think not
Stan the outer. Is that what's happening?
Stan. I think it's hard to show Stan because it happened in the new one as well. Is that knowing what happens to Stan, you need to plant the seeds for that early.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, what it ends up doing is it ends up making us not like him so much because he's the one that's the most reluctant, and he's actually, you're kind of just like, well, Stan, you probably just don't even need to be here.
Yeah,
buddy.
dude, do you want to be in this losers club or not?
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like he's not. This is hilarious. I just feel he's not like committed to being in the losers club.
That's it.
So I'm like, well, are you part of this club or not? And one of the bits that contradicts.
I doubt your commitment to Sparkle Motion.
Exactly. Like, one of the bits that contradicts that is when they're just about to go out and Bill tells the story of how Stan was bird watching and goes into that house, which was just sublime, Stephen King, by the way. And he goes into this random fucking house that when you look at it from the outside, you're like, well, why would you go into there? You would burn that house. Just to look at it, you would burn it to the ground because clearly it's haunted.
Was that meant to be the house that
built
features a lot more prominently in the remake? I can't remember the name of the house.
Maybe, I don't know.
Nipinky house or something. No,
Maybe.
I'm making that up.
But yeah, like the fact that he goes in there and then after that, I was such a big fan, especially when I was watching this as a kid, like knowing if you saw a friend running from you and he jumped on the back of your bike and said, go, 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 you would push your heart out to ride that bike as fast as you can. Now, rewatching that, if you have a look, they are going so slow.
Oh, bless them.
But it's not, it's the
I love
the action is there.
Jonathan Brandis' reaction to that. It's straight off the bat. It's
Hi-ho,
silver away. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Like it's not even questionable. It's not giving him shit for being so scared. It's just straight up.
Let's go.
Want out? We're getting out.
Going. Let's go.
Yeah, it's funny because I think they love him, but I don't see it return.
Exactly.
And he does make a decision. Like he is important. Like he does find his courage a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing. I think it's the same problem that I think happened in the remake is that because they have to plant the seeds of how reluctant he is, so that spoiler, his suicide seems genuine. Unfortunately, it means that we don't really like him as a kid.
Yeah.
Because we're just kind of like, hey man, everyone else is on board.
We really
get on
like
board.
You. Yeah.
Get on board or get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Because I don't want you bringing down this vibe because they need the vibe. It's all about the vibe.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm with you there, man. I am with you there. Do you know what moment actually was one of my more unsettling moments? Was the floating head Stan where he starts shaking and being kind of like, like he can't control it anymore.
You all float.
Yeah. That was actually, that moment rubs me the wrong way.
That's a really nice scene. Yeah. I like that. He did that well.
So obviously, like I love the special effect. So if you look underneath the grate that his head's sitting on, it's so clearly not there at that time. It's like a 100%. Fake little can of Pepsi and something, and there's no life to it at all. Yeah. It's really quite funny. Yeah.
There was one other scene that I was going to talk about, but keep going.
Can I talk about the one that doesn't work for me?
Oh, please.
It's the moment where John Ritter goes, Christ, Bev, is it you or the clown?
Oh, God.
It's my favourite line of dialogue.
Oh, damn it.
I don't know what's going on anymore. Is it you or the clown?
No, right before that scene is when Bev goes, why is it so mean? I'm like, we've got some telly movie acting right here.
That whole scene is garbage. Unfortunately, that's where most of the bad acting moments happen, which is a shame because John Ritter, man.
Yeah, John Ritter.
He should be the strongest. He should be like Because he's
coming out of
great.
that, swinging out
and
of that.
generally he's pretty good.
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe you just can't deliver that line well. Maybe those two lines.
Why is it so
and
mean?
the melting pot of like the steaming pot of bad dialogue, horrible acting,
Yeah.
terrible lighting, melodramatic overload just makes that scene
damn.
seem so ridiculous. And it's a good example of what people point to when they're like, "Oh, this movie sucks."
This movie sucks because of
You
this
just
scene.
you just play that
hang
scene,
on a
and
minute,
it's like
mate.
it's all like this. And it's like, no, it's
hang
not
on a
really.
minute.
But
Yeah. I have a question.
Yeah.
Is Eddie gay?
I don't know what they're trying to imply in this.
They just didn't have the balls to put it out there. Is that what happened? Because he admitted that he was a virgin, but watching this now, I was like, you want to come out to the group, but is the timing? Is it because it's 1990 that you can't, or I don't know?
Yeah.
Do you remember in the book was he
He's
gay?
married in
He's
the book.
married. Okay,
But I don't think that matters too much because I think the book, there's some stuff with a homosexual character in the book, which is quite terrible.
right.
I'm not spoiling anything. It's fine. And they actually have this in the new movie as well. So it's not a spoiler. Like it's just the very first murder the first murder we see that makes Mike realize that Pennywise is back. So in the movie, it's a young child.
Yep.
In the book, it's a hate crime against a homosexual man.
Right.
So these couple of guys basically beat the fuck out of this dude, throw him over the bridge while he's with his boyfriend, and the boyfriend is. While he tries to save or is trying to figure out how he can save him, he's on the bridge. He sees Pennywise murder him, and he's crippled with fear and can't do anything about it.
Right.
So I think there is a bit of an undertone running through it about people being afraid to be themselves as well.
Yeah.
Like that any kind of breaking from uniformity is considered evil and needs to be punished.
Especially with her, like Eddie's mum being that
massively a
controlling.
germaphobe, crazy, controlling.
You
don't
type.
need any friends. You have your mother. Yeah,
Such a good line.
bad influence, all that stuff.
But yeah, all of that, like even going into like the fact that he still lives with his mum at that age, and
Well, yeah,
doesn't
in
have a
the
chance
book,
to be himself.
it's similar to what's happened with Bev in the book.
Right.
That he has married, but he's basically replaced his mother with his
With his
wife.
mother, right.
She's equally germophobic, crazy, controlling.
Yeah.
The same way Bev has married an abusive, violent man.
guy.
Yeah.
That he did well. That guy. That he did well.
He
thought
played a scumbag.
he was a scumbag.
just like it was nothing.
Yeah, I was like, oh, you're messed up. I'd hit you hard in
Yeah.
the face with a crowbar.
That is
Yeah.
that's an old fashioned opened fist smack, isn't it?
Yeah, gets a belt out, and I'm like, oh man.
That was
Yeah, want to dance with a man for a change? Yeah, let's see how you go with me. Fucking hell.
yeah, exactly.
damn.
He's almost laughably evil though. That guy.
It was.
I'm sure people like that
90s
exist, but God,
hilariousness.
it's a bit overwhelming because you're just like Jesus.
Yeah,
Fuck,
came out nowhere.
man.
Yeah.
Take a fucking.
Especially at the start, like when the secretary comes
Take a
in. I'm like,
breather.
pretty sure it's her company, not yours. But
Yeah, that's
we'll
the
let it
guy
go.
that the saying "pump the brakes" was invented for. That guy. Hey, buddy.
hey man,
Pump the brakes.
Hey man, pump those brakes. Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah, very
gold.
good. Can
Gold.
I do want to laugh about one thing.
Oh sure.
Is that there is a song that plays, and it's a well-known. It's an actual song.
Right. That one.
Yeah, but I just love the choice of song. Is
Yeah.
that it's all like the chorus is just everybody repeating, "It's all right." It's like it's such a funny like.
It's like, why have you chosen this song?
It's like there's a crazy clown trying to kill you, but it's alright because we're on a bike. Like,
And we're eating Chinese.
exactly. Forget your troubles, have some Chinese food. Forget about the crazy clown. It's alright.
We're gonna make a deal. Like, what the fuck is going on here?
It's such a great choice.
God damn it.
It made me laugh every time.
Because it kept going back.
Yeah, because they can only afford
I
one
love this
pop song.
I love this song.
TV budget, man.
Yeah.
It's like we gotta
that
get our
was funny.
fucking money's worth out of
Exactly.
this song.
Jesus, that was fun.
Oh dear.
right.
Well, I don't know what else really there is to say. Overall, enjoyable.
Yeah,
Really enjoyable.
I always
Sometimes a little bit ironically, and other times genuinely.
Exactly.
because I'll be honest, when it was terrible acting and stuff, I laughed. I wasn't sitting there going, oh, rolling my eyes at how awful it was. I found it kind of charming.
I thought they did. You know what else I also just added real quick is I thought they handled Beverly's abusive father quite well. You didn't need to see it.
I agree.
But the set design and the look of the whole thing and what was happening.
Yep. And his choice of dialogue was really great. The I'm worried about you.
I'm worried about you, Bevy. You really worry me.
Yeah, like that. That's such a that's chilling when you think of the connotations of that.
Up, man.
Yeah. And I 100% agree. I think some of the choices they had to make because it was made for television worked in its favor.
Exactly.
Others, not so much.
Not so much. No, that's true. That's true.
All right. Oh, and I will shout out. I feel bad because I did want to mention it before. I feel bad for shitting on Tim Curry for a little while. So I do want to say I think the best moment for him is the scene in the photo. I think when he starts doing the flips down the road in the photo and then climbs up the power and just stares them down and you actually see the menace in him.
Yeah.
Really genuinely, but not like monster menace, like actual like you kids are shitting me now.
Yeah.
And so if you want to fucking roll with this, you're going to find out.
Yeah.
And I did really love that moment where he's like, you listen here.
Yeah.
Bags.
Yeah.
You're going to fucking die. Yeah. All right, so I think that's a great moment of Tim Curryness, despite some of the other stuff where I've said that I didn't find him particularly menacing. I think that scene, he's pretty great.
I like it.
Nice.
It.
I'm looking forward to revisiting the remake and then going to see Chapter 2 in the cinema.
Baby.
Maybe if we happen to luck out and see it around the same time, we could potentially do an episode on it and do them both.
Maybe we
as
start
like a double feature
off. October first week with it.
It's just an It Fest.
And It Chapter 2. Maybe. Who knows? Who knows these things?
Who knows these things indeed. I'm hearing mixed things about the second one as well.
I'm hearing mixed things as well, but I have a big love for this, so it's probably going to push me over. I know I love it more than most people. I don't know why. It's the childhood thing.
What, this 90s one or the...
Both.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, hey, man, don't get me wrong. I think that remake was really strong.
I remember when I first saw it because when we saw the first It, I remember telling you ages ago. We went day one, dropped off little man at Grandma and Grandpa's, and we saw I think it was like an 11 o'clock session gold class. We were the only ones in there.
Right.
It was us and Mr. Fat Nerd 2 rows back, living it up, and there was a silent. There was a nod of, we're on the same page here. Yeah, it was such a beautiful moment. He was like, "Yep, we know why we're here."
Yeah, for sure.
And Sam was still breastfeeding. We didn't have little man at the time, but and we watched it. And I remember after going while it was getting ready, I'm like, "Oh, please don't ruin this. Please let this be such a brilliant remake." And it was good, but I felt that there was just a slight too much CG.
Yeah, there was an over-reliance on CGI. I would definitely agree with you there.
Rewatching it, I'm like, no, I'm going to retract that. I think there was just enough.
Okay.
What I've heard about Chapter 2 is that they really amp up the CG.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, nasty.
So, yeah. And going back to, especially with the movies that we love, if there's not something tangible we can hold on to, if you're going to do effects, do them physically. Do physical effects. It looks better. And it's more realistic.
It just does, yeah.
I
do often think of that moment where it crawled out of the refrigerator and untwists itself.
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, that scene is amazing, except I don't believe it for a second.
Yeah.
And all I can think of is how much more I would love that scene.
If he just crawled out of the fridge.
Because from the moment where it's just him and he's staring down Eddie and yelling at him and Eddie's screaming in his face.
Petrifying.
It is brilliant. But it is just forever dampened by the fact that I see that twisty CGI thing come out of the fridge. And I'm like, imagine. Surely you could do it with we put a man on the moon, people. Can't make a clown untwist itself out of a refrigerator.
Yeah, come on. It's not that hard.
Anyway, maybe there was some other way to do it. Exactly. Maybe maybe you didn't need to... I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then little things like that.
Yeah, watching the making of, that was Eddie. That was his first day on set. That scene,
nice.
They did that, and Bill. You see Bill talk about it, and he's like, "I was so scared that I was actually going to scare him that he wouldn't want to keep continuing the scene."
Yeah.
But his character Eddie that actor is so much like that character that as soon as they went and cut, he went, man, I really love what you're doing. Oh my God, this is so good. Oh my God, I'm so excited.
By the way, I just had the most massive deja vu, or we have had that exact conversation on this show. Whereas I talked about that, and then you talked about that.
That's hilarious.
I'm 99% certain that we've had that conversation.
Well, we love film.
Yeah. Hey, we're eventually going to run out of things to say. We're going to run out of stories.
That's true.
Nicholas, should we move on?
Let's move on.
What did you watch this week? Do you want to go first?
I can go first.
All right, go first.
Tyson.
Yes.
Samantha Jane decided to go out with the girls.
Okay, very
Little
good.
man and me, we had our dinner.
Mm-hmm.
We had a sit. He went to bed.
I thought you were about to say, because I know what movie this is.
No.
I thought you were about to say you and Little Man watched it. I'm like, all right.
No, he's not ready for this. Nick turned his TV up to 11.
Nice.
And because, thank God, little man can't hear the TV, he can hear a murmur, which is good. I tested it.
Murmurs are all right.
I turned my beautiful surround sound up to the nines, and I watched Mad Max Fury Road.
Nice.
4K.
Oh, delicious.
Good Lord, man, this is such a good film. There is not a dull moment. There is not a weak scene.
Well, there is definitely not a dull
character.
moment in it. I can say that for sure.
Like, seriously. No weak character. This thing is... It's almost a perfect film. I guess that's why I rated it 10 out of 10
Sure.
and 5 out of 5. Like, I can't find a fault.
Okay.
You got nothing. I remember a lot of people, I had 2 people come up to me when it first came out because I missed it at the cinema. And I was fucking livid because I knew that it was going to be good. And then I heard all this comeback of, oh my God, have you seen Fury Road?
Yeah.
And then I went and saw it. Me and Sam finally caught it at the Astor. And it was a packed cinema.
Right.
And at the end of it, like you do at most, for some reason, a lot of people like to applaud after they see a movie at the cinema. I'm not all about that, but, it's sure, do whatever you like. But the whole audience went nuts.
Yeah.
Like, it was a slight clap, right, at the start. And then the guy literally sitting behind me just went, fuck yeah! And then the whole audience erupted in like a rock concert. Like, that is the element of this movie. Like, that is so...
Yeah.
That's the reaction.
I mean, that movie gets your blood pumping.
God,
for
that was so good. So, yeah. So, I
I can't wait to rewatch it. I've only seen it the one time.
Yeah. Wow, really?
Really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But felt like it was, at the time of watching it, I was all like, this is all just too much movie for me right now.
Oh, really?
And so, like, was a
gotta be
little
in for
bit
the ride.
disengaged.
Right.
Especially the first, it took me a while to find my groove. It took me about half an hour to really kind of be like, okay, I get what's happening. I'm in now.
Yeah.
It's so much movie.
Yeah. It's a road movie. And it's, Jesus Christ, it's awesome.
It's
like so good.
Every scene there is just, it's like if Baz Luhrmann made the most balls to the wall action movie of all time.
Yeah.
Like it's Moulin Rouge, except they're all shooting each other in the desert. Like,
yeah, and that's what it is. Like, but the fact that you're dealing with so many aspects of, you've got costume design, you've got prosthetics, you've got stunts that are happening for real. Nothing was CG'd on this film, apart from, I think, there are a couple of things.
Like they would just add to. Yeah.
Like all of the stunts that you're seeing, especially with the guys bending. Remember when we saw the trailer?
Like, they're ridiculous.
My God, and they did that for real.
Yeah.
That's intense, man.
Yeah. I think once you're prepared to just go with the movie and like let its charms just wash over you, it is so much fun.
You know what I tuned it to? When you start this movie,
like having a fucking hit of speed.
Exactly. Like, you have a shot of tequila before you watch this movie. Like, that's what it's on. Okay, cool. And salt, lemon.
Let's go.
Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like that.
It is.
Which
Yeah.
is so good.
Look,
man.
it's look, and and not once did I think it was the movie's fault, and not once did I ever have that kind of, it's not actually that good. It's such a mess. I 100% appreciated that I was just not prepared for how bonkers it was, and I was like, oh shit, I actually had no idea that it would be like this.
Yeah.
And at that very instant, it was just too much for me. And so I had to just take it easy, just kind of step away from it a little bit. And then once it chilled out a little bit, because it does chill out for a little bit and hit its groove.
Just slightly at the end.
Like for the last little bit.
Up. Yeah.
Yeah, but the intensity picks up, but it lets you breathe. And so once I was prepared and it all worked out well from there.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to watch it again, knowing full well what it is and going, okay, I need to be like, ready to roll. I can't be tired. I can't be even slightly stressed because this will make me have a heart attack. Like, I just need to be like, oh, you know what I fucking want to watch right now?
Exactly.
Mad fucking Max.
Such a great film, man.
Oh yeah, do you know what? I'm still so happy of how well it went at the Oscars that year.
It collected.
It's one of my favorite Oscar memories of the last 10 years.
The fact that it kept
just kept winning stuff.
Another one for Mad Max.
Yeah.
And yeah, man.
Because when it was nominated for a whole bunch of stuff, everyone was kind of shocked.
Yeah.
But also really appreciative because they were like, oh my God, yeah. But of course it did because yes, all this stuff in it is fantastic. But because it's such a heavily niche genre film, you wouldn't expect associate it with Oscar.
Yeah.
And then when it started winning stuff, in the end I was kind of like, is he going to win Best Director? All of a sudden I was like, he might actually win Best Director. And of course he didn't in the end. I think that was The Revenant year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which
props to
Revenant won Best Director and then Spotlight won Best Film.
Correct.
Spotlight is probably the one that I was least excited to see win.
I still love Spotlight though.
I mean, it's a good movie, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But
next to...
if you put the 3 DVDs in front of you right now and say, which one do you want to watch? I'm telling you, Spotlight is the first to go.
Yeah, it is.
At all times. I can't think of a time in my life where I will look at those 3 movies and decide I want to watch Spotlight more than those 2.
Yeah. That's so true. Oh, God, it was good.
Yeah.
It was really good.
So, Nick.
I have one more thing.
Oh, yeah, go nuts.
Just I remember 2 people coming up to me when that movie came out. Sorry to go back onto this. But 2 people came up to me and they said it was really bland and it was colourless. I remember those words, bland and colourless. I'm not friends with these people anymore.
So everything is subjective.
Sure.
Art.
There is so much colour in this film.
They are 2 factually incorrect statements.
That is so wrong. I have never heard a more wrong
that is not
sentence.
That is not just subjectivity. That is incorrect.
Yeah, sorry. Bland and colourless.
That's
the
really
fact that you said
funny.
Colourless, I was like, sorry, I don't know what
Did
movie
they have
you were
the
watching.
colour turned off? Was their television
Oh, were you
broken?
watching the Chrome version?
Were they watching the Chrome version?
Damn it.
Then they're even more of an idiot for saying it's colourless when it's in black and white. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, we saw this Chrome thing. I don't know what's going on.
God.
All right. Tys, what'd you watch?
Hey, man, I watched, recently added to Stan, I watched Creed 2.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Which I know
All
you
right.
can't really appreciate.
I can't have a say, but how did it go?
It's okay. I think my overall feeling at the end of it is disappointment because it didn't, but it could never reach the heights of Creed.
Sure.
Because I couldn't believe how much I loved that movie when I saw it.
Right.
And how great a continuation of the Rocky saga it was.
Yep.
This, unfortunately, kind of feels like a middling Rocky movie.
Okay. A spin-off, if
It
you
kind
will.
of... The thing about Creed 2 is it's all the things that Creed 1 could have been.
Okay.
But
because
this
it's already
movie
done...
is. So Creed had the wonderful fortune of being so much better than it had any right to be.
Yep.
This is the movie. Creed 2 is the movie that Creed 1 people were afraid of Creed 1 being.
Right.
Yeah? A reasonably good, but in no way outstanding Rocky knockoff, basically. It feels like there are good elements to it. There's some moments in it that I still get me worked up but I can't help that because I have this association with this franchise.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, when the dun, 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 kicks in at a pretty great moment in the movie. In Creed 2. Of course, I am ready to roll and let's fucking do this. I was amazed at just how similar to Rocky 4 it also was, considering that the whole thing about this was they were bringing back Drago from Rocky 4. Mm-hmm. It's almost a beat-for-beat remake of Rocky 4.
Oh, okay.
Just obviously the story beats are very similar. The outcomes are different. So it's that whole bullshit, it mirrors it, which to me feels a little lazy.
Okay.
Because I would have liked to have seen them possibly steer themselves in a completely different direction. There's the spoilers for Creed 2, I guess. There's the crippling defeat.
Sure. And then the comeback.
And then the comeback.
Is it before or after a montage?
Of course, there's a training montage. Of course, it's a Rocky movie. There has to be a training montage.
What are you, an idiot?
Probably the most disappointing training montage of all, of course, as well. Because in all of them, it's the same thing with... we've talked about these montages before. There's a purpose to them because they are learning something in particular. And in all the Rocky montages, there's a particular skill that he has to learn in order to beat this fighter.
Right.
And in this montage, there's a little bit of that, but it's generally just he just needs to get better,
Be faster.
be bigger, basically.
Right.
And so the montage is kind of, it doesn't have a clear goal that he can then take into the fight. There's some really nice character stuff, but it never really reaches the heights of the first one. Performances all around are pretty solid. Stallone steps back a bit. He's not really as important in this one. It definitely becomes more, he's much more of a supporting role in this than he was in the first Creed.
Okay. Is he directing?
No, he's not directing this one.
Okay, good.
So it's really Michael B. Jordan's ball game, and he does really great work. It's really great, and there are really nice moments in it. But at the end of the day, I finished watching it, and I was like, this sits alongside the lesser interesting Rocky movies to me, and one I probably wouldn't choose to revisit as much as I would say my favorites Creed or Rocky 3, which. Everyone, I don't know why Rocky 3 is my favorite, but fuck, it's so good.
I can't wait to watch them. I'm going to watch them. I am.
Yeah, so, it's just like a solid 6 or 7.
Yeah.
But, for this franchise, I want like 8s and 9s.
Fair enough.
I can't help that.
Okay.
But yeah, but it's on Stan, if anyone's interested.
Yeah.
Dolph Lundgren's great.
Dolph is in this?
Yeah, he's back.
Oh, shit.
Dolph's back. Do you know who also makes a surprise cameo?
Carl?
No, he can't. He's, unfortunately, he died, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Spoilers for Rocky 4.
Damn it.
And the whole premise for Creed existing is that Carl Weathers' character is dead. Bridget Nielsen.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Random.
Pops up randomly and
Bridget,
doesn't actually look like if you weren't...
She hasn't aged, does she?
No. Quite the opposite. But it's not an age thing. She just actually doesn't look like the same human being.
Oh.
You know when you look at older people and you're like, oh yeah, that's you, but you've just gotten old.
Yeah.
She actually just looks like a different human.
Different human. Yeah. She's done the Jennifer Grey thing. And
Yeah.
Who the fuck are you?
Good example. Yeah, exactly. If you didn't know and you didn't understand in context, you'd be like, who are you?
Yeah.
What are you doing in this?
Yeah.
Very strange. Also, the guy that plays the son, who is the Drago in this one, is a beast. Oh my god,
who is he?
I don't know, some actual boxer.
Oh, he's an actual
Ukraine.
boxer.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
And he's 6'3", built like an absolute brick shit house.
Yeah,
and does quite a good job, like quite a nice performance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is he an actual boxer though?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Doesn't have to work too hard. Like what he has to do isn't exactly a stretch.
Yeah.
But he's empathetic enough.
Jesus.
Full unit. Yeah, fucking absolute unit. And Michael B. Jordan gets jacked in this thing too.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He was already jacked.
Yeah,
from
but he's he doesn't look like a real human being.
Right.
You look like the way his waist to shoulder ratio works out.
Yeah.
It's unheard of.
I love that Michael B. Jordan is coming up in the ranks, man. I can't wait to see more of him. He's getting some chops on.
He's great. I've been a huge fan of him ever since Friday Night Light days.
All right. Old school, man.
Yeah.
I like it. All right.
Should we cross some streams?
Let's cross some streams. How are we for time? We're all right?
Yeah, we're doing all right. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Time to do time.
Crossing the streams! I'm back.
That was nice.
Back.
I even took it down a little notch so we'd get a nice harmony going. I don't know if you heard that one. It was pretty tight.
I like it.
Toit.
I like it. Toit.
Well, why don't we then...
Sure.
Why don't we give a recommendation of a Stephen King film?
Nice.
That we can find, that you can stream.
Because there's a lot.
There are. Look, there's so many film adaptations and not all of them are good.
Hey, come on, man. Everyone loves Langolier. No. Sleepwalkers. No. Sometimes they come back.
Firestarter. No.
Firestarter.
Sometimes they come back again. No, there are some good ones. I actually, even some of the bad ones I like. Like I watched Needful Things
I've always wanted to see
months
that.
ago.
Do you remember the VHS?
Oh, and it had it was one of those puffy ones.
Puffy ones,
yeah. Which was not terrible at all. Like I actually quite enjoyed it. And I've heard Thinner is actually not bad either.
I remember watching that. It was one of the first preview tapes I watched.
Oh, there you go.
It was shit.
Okay. Well, the one I am going to recommend, and I think I talked about it not too long ago because I had seen it for the first time.
Yeah.
And I was really impressed by it. I thought it was quite entertaining. It was a John Carpenter film that I hadn't yet seen, and that's Christine from 1983. You can actually watch this on Netflix at the moment.
I love Christine.
In 4K, of all things.
Oof.
Yeah, if you've got the 4K membership, you can watch this in 4K.
Nice.
It's the haunted car one. There was a little patch in time when everything to do with Stephen King was it's the haunted thing.
Yep.
And this is the haunted car.
Yep.
But it's obviously got a lot more going on than that. It's it's mostly about obsession and how someone who who had no power and then suddenly is granted a lot of power, how they handle it and what kind of human emerges from that.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm a big fan of the book as well. I'm about halfway through the book.
Nice.
It's yet another one of these ones that I've gotten about halfway through and stopped, and I have to go back. But for a little while, it was my public transport read, and I just haven't caught public transport for a while.
Yeah,
so,
fair deal.
unfortunately,
why would you coach public transport? You have a car. When do you coach public transport?
just for
Just going to the city.
no,
having a
sometimes
drink?
when it's more convenient, I would, there were times when I would leave the car behind.
Nice, I like it.
Yeah, so hopefully I'll get back onto that again now. I've been really thinking about reading again lately. I actually was just at a Savers and stumbled across the William Goldman book that I haven't read yet.
Right.
And it was just sitting on the shelf for $3, and it was like, well, this, if there was ever a sign that I need to start reading again, it's this. And so I grabbed it, and I'm looking forward to getting stuck into that. And I just think it's time. Like I've been such a phone zombie for so long, and that's why I stopped reading. Is because I didn't need to read books anymore, because when I was bored I would get my phone. It's time to stop.
Yeah,
it's time to get the books out again.
I like it.
But yeah, Christine on Netflix, get into it. It's great.
Speaking of Savers, I literally just dropped off because speaking of streaming as well, I don't listen to CDs anymore. Who listens to CDs, Tyson? So apart from a few choice albums, I literally gave mine and Sam's CD collection to the Salvos.
Good on you, man.
Around the corner.
Yeah, great.
We're talking about, I think it was 4 green shopping bags full to the brim. When I handed them off to the old lady, she was like, whoa, okay. Looks like we're in for the long haul. I was like, oh, why? She's like, oh, because I listen to all of them before they come through.
Oh,
I was like, oh, cool. Good luck to you. When you get to the bottom at NWA, maybe give it a pass.
Yeah. Might not be for you. I tell you what I do.
Yeah.
Is... Yeah, I've decided I'm not going to buy CDs anymore. Obviously, I'm in the same boat. Yeah. But I do want movie soundtracks. So whenever I'm in Savers, any op shop, I go through the CDs. And if it's a movie score, not like songs from a movie, I don't need that. No, but when it's movie score, I grab the CD. So I've actually picked up some random ones recently. I got Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon the other day, the original score from that. I got the Titanic score.
How good was Crouching Tiger when it first came out? People lost their minds.
I need to rewatch that movie because I have not seen it since 2001.
Neither have I.
I loved it.
Everyone loved it.
But would I still love it?
Ang Lee, man.
Ang Lee's good.
He is good.
I just feel like all that floating on trees nonsense.
We're kind of past that.
Yeah, I feel like I'm just a bit kind of done with that.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if I would give a shit.
Everyone was doing it at the time, though.
Yeah,
like everyone had their... Like, do you have your wire work guy? Is there wire work in it? Because if there's not, I'm not watching.
Yeah, if this was a martial arts movie and there was no wire work, I was like not interested.
Exactly. And then the raid happened.
And then we never needed wires again. Well, I don't know. Is he on? Do they do some wire work in that or not?
No, they don't.
None?
No, I don't.
No, I wouldn't say the raid happened. Do you know what happened?
Yeah.
Ong Bak happened.
Oh, yeah, Ong Bak. Yeah. Which I still haven't
Tony
seen.
Jaa
but I've heard that is
showed the world how to fucking do a stunt, and we all lost our collective minds.
Jackie Chan, maybe he sit this one out
because he jumped through a steel pipe. And I know that doesn't sound impressive, but you need to watch what he does.
You haven't seen it. You need to see it.
Because he literally jumps and dives through a steel pipe and does like a somersault out the other end.
Does he?
And lands and keeps running. And
like,
your brain kind of shits itself at that moment. Like, because you're watching it and you're like, hang on.
What's happened?
Did he just do that?
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love
Tony
it.
Jaa's the man. He's so good.
For my Stephen King streaming, I was going to pick Pet Sematary, but you have to pay for it.
Okay.
So I'm going to take a little left of centre.
Oh.
I'll probably pick this as well.
I don't know. When?
Oh, shit. I was going to do Stand By Me.
We've done an episode on Stand By Me, so you can direct people to our episode.
Yeah. While also watching it on Foxtel.
Yeah, great.
There you go.
On Foxies.
On Foxies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I guess
it's not the best win, but, if you do have Foxtel and you haven't seen this, or if you were born after 2000 and haven't seen Stand By Me, which a lot of people don't or haven't watched it.
Yeah.
It's the only Stephen King novel I have read. Yeah, the novel is called The Body.
Yep.
It's a short story. It's quintessential watching.
Yeah.
That you can't really... I feel you can't call yourself a film lover if you haven't seen Stand By Me.
It's 100% a classic. It would be on any list of movies to see before you die.
Exactly.
I would agree with that.
100%.
And also it's one of those movies that I think... Well, because, everyone thinks... people that don't know Stephen King think Stephen King is like schlock horror.
Exactly.
When you see something like that, you realise that he's actually a lot more than that.
Exactly.
And that he also puts that kind of stuff in his horror novels.
Yeah.
Which is what makes them so good.
Which makes them good. Which is what, the reason I wanted to do this is because this is what you get at the start of 1990s It. You get a Stand By Me with these kids, but there's also a clown coming after them. So yeah, in this one you're getting some stellar performances, especially from River Phoenix and oh my God, I've forgotten his
Will
name.
Wheaton?
No, I was going to say Kiefer. Kiefer is who I go to because
Kiefer's
Kiefer, in this is just next level. Will Wheaton.
I just love saying Will Wheaton.
Wheaton. Yeah. So yeah, definitely. Please give Stand By Me a watch if you haven't watched it already. It's going to change your life.
Yes, and if you do want to listen to that episode, that was episode number 43.
Lovely.
Of Stand By of Nick Tyson Videotape. We released that episode on the 24th of November in 2017, Nick, nearly 2 years ago.
Shit. You know
how time has passed. I also used to put a lot more effort into the episode descriptions. I've discovered these are much longer.
I was going to say, and also if you listen to that episode, because it was just an episode where we just the movie was good. We had no gripes. It's kind of boring.
Yeah, it is a boring episode. It's actually one of our shortest episodes.
Exactly. Because it was so, because we were like, it was good. It was good. What are we talking about? Okay.
How good it is.
Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about Avengers.
Yeah, that's it. All right, let's wrap it, Nick. Where can people find us, buddy?
Tys, everyone can find us on iTunes is the main one. If you jump on, or not iTunes, but Apple Podcasts, which is now turned into, is the main one because that's where it gets the most traction for us. So if you are wanting to like, subscribe, review, do it on there because it's going to help us the most. Other than that, we're on most of every other podcast medium, but we are on the socials as well, which is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We do have a Gmail account. We are getting very close to our spook-isode, so make sure you write in what you would like us to do. If you have an idea which we haven't done, bring that on as well. If there is something that is insanely scary, which in this episode, if you have just listened to it, you just did find out that Tyson is arachnophobic, so maybe play on that a little. The other things are...
Don't do that.
Get him to watch Harry Potter again. The other things is we are on YouTube. And also download the Letterboxd app. Jump on that app. We should be plugged. We need to get these people. We need to get these people to pay us because we love this app so much. God damn it. Yeah, jump on the app. It's such a great app for movie lovers. Like, it's just a great little app that you get all these little different things about it. You get to follow your friends. You get to see what they're watching. You get to see what they've rated. And then the next morning, you get to go when they're having coffee and go, seriously, you rated it a 5 out of 5. Edge, I'm talking to you. 5 out of 5? Are you kidding me? You think it's a perfect film? It's clearly not a perfect film. But yes, jump on Letterboxd app. You can follow Tys, which is TYS_videotape, and myself is Nick, NIC_videotape.
Perfect. Next week, Nicholas.
Tyson.
So we took what Luke Wattsford has written to us this week to heart. It's a good point.
We haven't done Clint Eastwood.
How have we not touched good old Clint Eastwood?
Well, we just did Tarantino.
I mean, that's it. We only just got to Tarantino. Yeah, we've done how many Van Damme movies?
Yes.
And
amazing.
there's a reason. Because he's the greatest.
Top cop.
But yeah, so we thought, well, why not? Let's do a Clint Eastwood. It's a great call. There is one Clint Eastwood movie that I always turn to, and
it's at the top.
If anyone says, what's your favourite Clint Eastwood movie, it's without question this film. It's probably in my top 10 movies of all time, I think. We're talking about one that I am just in love with.
This is going to be
it'll be a real fun episode because I'm looking forward to talking about the reason why I love this movie.
Cool.
And that is Unforgiven.
Unforgiven.
From 1992, I believe.
I like it.
Yeah, Clint Eastwood's kind of anti-Western, which is just a hell of a watch. So I'm really excited to give that a rewatch. Morgan Freeman, Gene Hackman.
Gene Hackman.
Yeah, and the other guy's name is blanked.
Robert Patrick?
No.
It's not T-1000.
And the T-1000.
And the T-1000.
Special appearance by the T-1000. So yeah, tune in next week. For an episode on not The Unforgiven. Is it The Unforgiven? Why am I...
Just Unforgiven,
That's the song from Metallica.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm just going to shit in that last minute.
We like to end the episode with a bit of a... okay. Yeah, fair deal.
The more you know. All right, Nick.
All right.
See you, man.
See you, man.
Bye.
Bye.